at SweetTree Home Care Services. We're going to present today. It'll roughly, I know it said about an hour, but it may be less. But at the end, we'll have some Q&As. If you just keep your mic on mute, and if you have any questions, please send them through on the chat. And as I said, there'll be questions at the end. So I'll just share, present. It's just loading. Can everyone see that okay? A little thumbs up if so. I think that was a yes, a hand by Stephanie, which I think is maybe a thumb. Can you see it, Marco?
Yes, perfect.
Lovely. Okay. So today is Dementia Care Advice for Families for the National Dementia Carers Day. And what is National Dementia Carers Day? So it was founded by SweetTree Home Care Services and the Alzheimer's Society 9 years ago to recognise and celebrate the unpaid dementia carers and their wonderful role, but also the challenges they face every day. Each of the founding organisations are dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with dementia and also the quality of life for those caring for a loved one. The founders are aligned in raising awareness of and supporting the role of informal dementia carers. As we know, caring for a loved one with dementia poses many challenges for families and their caregivers. Living with dementia requires the right care, and it's time to recognise and share with it what it means to be a carer. So this year, oh, sorry, it's going to admit someone. Hi, hello. Sorry, I've just started, but welcome. Hopefully you can hear. If not, let me know. So this year on National Dementia Carers Day, we're also supported by the Alzheimer's and Dementia Show organisation. And our website is there as well. We have lots of blog posts working with some unpaid carers, which has been really fantastic. So just before I go any further, I think it's really important to understand the scale of dementia across the UK. Currently, an estimated 1 million people are living with dementia in the UK, with this number projected to rise to 1.4 million by 2040. The dementia diagnosis rate through NHS England stands at approximately 67%, meaning many people are living without a formal diagnosis. Around 700,000 people in the UK care for someone with dementia, with the vast majority of them being unpaid carers. These unpaid carers are often referred to as the silent army, as their support is estimated to save the UK economy around £11.6 billion per year. With an ageing population and more people stepping into care roles, it's vital that we focus on supporting these carers and as they are the heart of keeping everything going. I really wanted to highlight as well the necessity of carers having contingency plans, so that if suddenly a carer can no longer provide the care, they know who they are going to turn to for that support, and a plan has already been established to fall back on. When I looked into this, with my background being in social work, what's concerning is that I find it's estimated that 3 in 4 carers have no contingency plan in place, and 1 in 2 say there is no one else available to step in. And while it's incredibly hard to have these conversations about what happens if things change and if they're no longer able to help, the conversations we really need to have, because avoiding them doesn't protect your loved ones. Planning ahead really does. So really understanding dementia. So dementia is an umbrella term used to describe a range of conditions that affect how the brain works. It includes many different types, such as Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and frontotemporal dementia. Each of it has its own causes and patterns of progression, and it's impossible for someone to have more. It is possible for someone to have more than one type of dementia with mixed symptoms, known as mixed dementia. What all forms of dementia have in common is that they involve physical changes to the brain. These changes can include shrinking or damage to brain tissue, which you can see here in the scans. So on the very left, there's normal, relatively normal brain, they would say. Then you've got Alzheimer's disease, then you've got frontal lobe dementia. So you can see the different areas affected. Other parts of the brain is affected is a disruption in how brain cells communicate. Also buildup of abnormal proteins in the brain. For example, Lewy body dementia is the Lewy body protein, and loss of brain cells over time. These changes affect key areas of the brain responsible for memory, thinking, language, emotion, and movement. As more areas of the brain are affected, the person may gradually lose abilities they once had, such as remembering recent events, making decisions, recognizing people, or managing their daily tasks. As it is a progressive condition, symptoms tend to get worse over time, but it's important to remember that every person's experience of dementia is different. Okay, so bear with me with this one, but dementia is like peeling away the layers of an onion. Just as an onion has many layers, so too does a person's identity, memory, and abilities. As dementia progresses, it gradually peels away these layers. The outer layer may represent recent memories, problem-solving skills, or the ability to manage daily tasks, as this tends to be lost first. As the condition moves inward, long-term memories, personality traits, emotional responses may also be affected. Eventually, in the later stages, even basic functions like speech, recognition, or physical coordination may be lost, like reaching the center of the onion. Knowing where someone is on their journey and being at that place with them and joining them where they are is really vital. So, for example, if a person living with dementia is talking about their mother and father and thinking that they're reverting back to that childhood, that they're there, ask about their mother and father, get that more information and sit with them in that space rather than contradicting them. So why is this important? It shows that dementia is a gradual and layered process, not an immediate or total loss. It helps families understand that the loved one is still there at the core, even if the layers seem to be fading. And it can encourage more passionate care by reminding us that while some functions are lost, emotional memory and the need for love, connection, and dignity remain intact. So again, while looking into it in the current statistics, the increasing wait for a dementia assessment and diagnosis has really blown out since the pandemic. So if someone is experiencing symptoms of dementia, usually their first port of call is their GP, who can refer for a memory, usually at a memory clinic. Unfortunately, through the NHS, the wait for this to see a specialist has gotten a lot longer, and meaning that the time it takes to get a formal dementia diagnosis has also grown. Today, it can take over 5 months from the initial referral to receiving an outcome. This is longer than the 4-month wait in 2021 and much longer than the 3-month wait before COVID. The national recommendation, which you can see there in the dotted line, is 6 weeks. From referral to diagnosis within 6 weeks. But the 2024 study found that only 10% of people meet this time frame on average. Behind these statistics are thousands of people missing out on months of vital support, treatments, therapies, and adjustments that can relieve symptoms and help them be independent for longer. Also, to bear in mind, getting a diagnosis can feel overwhelming. Understandably, some people would rather not know. They might worry it means losing their independence, giving up work, driving, or needing to move into care. Others may not recognize that there is a problem or deny that anything is wrong. But if people do want to go down the route, there are also private dementia assessment options throughout the UK, one of the largest being the Dementia Service. However, there's also then financial restrictions around that. So why is getting a dementia assessment and diagnosis, why does it matter? So many people, as I said, delay speaking to their GP when dementia symptoms first appear, often due to fear, denial, or concerns about a lengthy, heavy administrative diagnosis process. But from what I can see in my career, early diagnosis is crucial. And here's really why, going through each of them. So not all symptoms are caused by dementia. Sometimes sometimes changes in memory can be linked to treatable conditions such as depression, underactive thyroid, vitamin B12 deficiency, menopause, or side effects of medication. Getting checked may lead to treatment and even a return to normal life. If it is dementia, then early diagnosis opens the door to treatment and support. While there's no cure, medications and non-drug therapies can help reduce symptoms, especially in conditions like Alzheimer's, and are most effective when started early. A diagnosis also gives family time to plan. It allows people to consider financial and legal matters, introducing formal support to make these important decisions, while the person living with dementia is still fully able to be part of the decision-making process and that conversation. It can also be a relief. For many, knowing, having a name for what's happening brings understanding and helps reduce fear and uncertainty. If someone is reluctant to see their GP, try gently talking through these benefits. Sometimes it helps to involve a trusted friend or family member to walk it through with them. They may be more willing to take advice from someone who is slightly removed from the situation. So I wanted to talk about the sundowning effect, especially because, in my role, I meet so many unpaid carers, and I ask, does your loved one sundown? They're going, what's that? And when I explain to them, go, oh my goodness, yes, this has been the past 6 months. I just didn't know there was a name for it. So just to go through it. So a sundowning effect refers to a common phenomenon in people with dementia, where they experience increased confusion, agitation, irritability, and other behavioural changes during the late afternoon or evening, typically when as the sun begins to set. Well, the exact cause isn't understood. Several factors may contribute, including people living with dementia often have difficulty processing time or managing their sleep-wake cycles, which can make late afternoons and evenings more challenging. As the day progresses, mental and physical fatigue can build up, leading to increased confusion or distress. Also, reduced natural light can affect a person's perception of their environment, leading to feelings of fear and confusion. So some of the signs of sundowning: increased restlessness, pacing, wandering, agitation, mood swings, irritability, frustration, difficulty communicating or understanding, and possible hallucinations and delusions. So what can you do to manage this the sundowning? So establish a routine. A consistent daily schedule with regular activities can provide structure and reduce confusion. Ensure adequate lighting. So keep the environment well lit in the evening to reduce shadows and confusion. Encourage relaxation. Gentle activities like listening to calming music or reading can help soothe the person down as the day winds down. Also monitor fatigue. So I work with a lot of families and they're going, I really want to keep mum busy. I really, she needs to be up and about. And sometimes that overstimulating the person during the day just causes them a absolute exhaustion mentally, that mental fatigue that I spoke about, which actually may worsen sundowning. So I wanted to go through 2 parts of the day. So waking up and starting the day, and then also meal times and ensuring good nutrition. Again, we work with people at SweetTree in their homes from, hourly support right up until live-in. And this is really what we find with working with them. So every one of us has different personal care routine, and we tend to like things done in a certain way, even without realizing it. So when waking up and starting the day, we need to look at some considerations and strategies when we're supporting a loved one. So find out that person's preferences. Truly can be small, but something like they prefer to wash before breakfast can make a huge difference. And we do this a lot when we start with the care package. Even if the loved one, say lives outside of London, doesn't know when mum wants to have a shower, mum's not too sure. We do see that pattern over time. a lot of our clients want breakfast first and then to have their personal care, and that they will not do it the other way around. Don't outpace the person, take it slowly and talk them through each step of the personal care routine, explaining gently what is happening next. This can help reduce anxiety and ensure they feel involved and respected in the process and know what's coming next. So, for example, you could say, I'm going to help you getting dressed now, but we'll take it nice and slow. We'll start with your shirt. I'll lift it up over your head and we'll guide your arms through it. That sound okay? The end of personal care. Also really offer positive feedback. Let them know how they've done and express appreciation for their cooperation. It helps to reinforce a sense of accomplishment. So you can say, I'm so glad I could help you with your morning routine. You look great, and now you're ready to enjoy the rest of your day. Should we go and have breakfast, for example? Another big consideration is many of older people may feel pain or discomfort when they wake up, and a lot of stiffness. You might find it difficult to articulate this. So consider if pain relief is needed before getting up or attending to personal care. And as always, promote dignity and choice and involvement from the person. An example of this is using a towel to cover areas that are not being washed to maintain privacy and dignity. Also make it enjoyable, a warm bathrobe, some relaxing music. In with our meal times and ensuring good nutrition. So as we all know, a nutritious balanced diet is vital for maintaining body weight, hydration, and general well-being, especially as we get older. However, it can become a real challenge when dementia progresses. So here are some considerations and strategies when supporting your loved one. So offer choice by showing a visual cues, and it makes a lot difference. So some of our carers actually have pictures of meals that they've made before for the client on their phone, and then the client's been able to point at them. Or you can give those verbal cues as well, so giving them 3 options and they can decide from it. A loss of appetite, so they may lose interest of previous favourite foods, and that's because the taste and smell can change as you get older. And I find family members get really distressed by this. You know, dad loved chocolate pudding and he won't touch it anymore, but he finds it too sweet when you actually ask him. So there may be a change in preferences. Also, different cravings. We do find as well that a lot of our clients crave a sweet food or salty foods, more of those intense flavors when they previously didn't. And then it may become more sensitive to textures and flavors. Offer small meals. We find that a lot of the time that does work, and manageable meals may help with ensuring the person does not lose patience or focus. And if coordination is difficult, with cutlery, try finger foods or snacks, so you can see in the photos here. And we give it throughout the day as well. Also make the food more visible, so try using a dark coloured table mat to show contrast so that they actually know where they're picking it up from. We have had a lady before, and she had a dining tablecloth, and there's so many different patterns and designs from it. She was really overwhelmed visually by it. We changed it to make it more simple and she could actually see the food better. And also we find that dining is a social experience. We really encourage our carers to eat with the clients and enjoy it, and that's the way it's traditionally been. So, as I say, SweetTree, we're a home care company, and we find it's very common for families to come to us when things have reached crisis point. So that's when informal care, usually provided by family or friends, has become unsustainable or has broken down altogether. And while we can absolutely support and start support in a person's later stage of dementia, the truth is the earlier that we are brought in, or another home care company or other forms of support around that person, the better. Although there's reluctance to support, may still be present at the early stages of dementia. I have found that over time, the introduction has reduced feelings of alienation, allowing us to support the person and the family from the outset. So actually joining them on that journey and getting to know that person and that family and moving through with them. So having that established familiar care structure in place early significantly reduces stress, because as the disease progresses, the support can evolve alongside the person rather than feeling completely new or disruptive. Our role is not just to provide care, it's to build strong relationships with families and help them navigate the often confusing and emotionally charged journey of dementia. When it comes to dementia care, knowledge truly is power. It helps people living with dementia and their families feel more in control, make informed decisions, and respond with confidence as needs change. So the dementia service here at SweetTree, we assess the day-to-day support needs of our clients, creating the care plans, as care truly cannot be one size fits all. It must be tailored and specific for that individual person. And I'm sure any carer, informal carer out there would definitely say that. The care manager is really the core of that package, monitoring the progression of the care needs and assessing and adjusting support as needed. So the care manager helps to know who's who in the care network and signpost them to the community support or future planning documents such as lasting power of attorney, which I will go into more detail soon. So often when we get the call, when families first reach out, they'll say, we can manage just short-term memory difficulties. Mum's just a little forgetful, it's fine. But in reality, things can really change quickly. A chest infection, urinary tract infection, or a fall can rapidly accelerate the progression of dementia, leading to increased confusion, disorientation, and reduced mobility. If there's no support system beyond the family in place, this can quickly turn into crisis. And that's why understanding what to look out for and having support outside of that care unit that you can turn to. So again, as I spoke about at the start, we really encourage early and open conversations. I totally understand. Oh, sorry, someone's coming in. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining. Sorry, we're just halfway through, but
Thank you.
hope
Sorry.
you can hear me. You're fine. So as I was saying, I totally understand why a lot of people don't want to talk about dementia. But truly, from my social work background, the sooner they do, I have seen the more relief and clarity it brings. And this is the same with introduction of support. Even if the person isn't fully open up to it, having some kind of conversation makes that difference. And having these conversations about health planning, what care should look like in the future. So if that is also nursing home care, and hearing the person's wishes empowers the client and allows their voice to be heard, so families can make an informed decision with that person's views at the center. It's a real quiet courage in simply starting. So I wanted to quickly talk about Joan. So Joan is one of our clients. She's still with us. But when her family got in touch, she did not have a formal diagnosis of dementia, but was showing signs of short-term memory loss and some personality changes. And what that looked like was increased irritability, anger. She, was swearing. Her family said she'd never sworn in her life. Just very out of character. She was forgetting her medications, missing appointments, and getting lost in her local community she'd been living for years. Her family reached out to us to explore support and initially requested visits twice a week for 3 hours to assist with medication, food shopping, and supporting Joan to attend her day centre. During the SweetTree full care assessment, which we really deliver in quite a conversational way because we do not want it to be a tick box exercise, it really became clear that while Joan had clear support needs, she did not recognise them at all. Having only recently retired, Joan really valued her independence and was hesitant to accept support. I gently queried whether additional support might be needed on other days, particularly due to the medication concerns, but Joan and her family were apprehensive and I completely respected their pace. I matched her with the support worker. I was present for the introduction and it went well. Joan was initially cautious, however, rapport did gradually build, with the support worker following an empowered approach to care. And what that really looked like was eyes on, kind of that safety net if Joan needed it. So, for example, she was still able to cook, but was having problems with those sequencing tasks. So the support worker would step in when needed, but Joan was leading it. And then also safety side of things. So she opened the oven and was reaching in, forgetting to put on the mitt. And the carer was there to say, no, Joan, come on, let's get what about these oven mitts? So it's very warm. So those little kind of empowered on the side approach. Through observation, trial and error, and ongoing communication, we've really tailored the approach to what Joan felt comfortable with and the strategies she responded best to. As trust grew and became more evident from the support worker, again reporting back to the family and to myself about the risks that had been averted, her support increased to daily visits, to managing her medication consistently, preparing and encouraging meals and hydration, which was a big problem for Joan, and supporting her to access the community and attend her social groups and her synagogue. It was a long process. It sounds very simplified and easy, but Joan finally accept care. Joan's son and daughter were highly involved in introducing care. However, both came from legal backgrounds and had no prior experience with dementia. They found the sudden changes in Joan's behaviour and her progression really overwhelming. As her care manager, I provided guidance by signposting them to relevant support networks and offering practical strategies to help them approach care conversations more effectively, and really navigate that emotional challenges they were encountering. I facilitated 2 family round table discussions where they openly discussed their concerns and reasons for introducing support and solutions. So with her health improving, Joan became more socially engaged. Her support worker began accompanying her to the synagogue and local day centres several times a week, with introducing more days. And that really, you could see, significantly boosted her sense of connection and well-being. So, but still outside of those scheduled support calls, Joan was really still struggling, calling her family a lot, not remembering what she'd planned for the week, and with the family's full-time jobs and own family commitments, it really caused a strain. In response, we transitioned Joan to live-in care, as we had deemed she was still safe to live at home, but she needed someone to be in a home environment with her. It just wasn't time for residential care yet. So that round-the-clock support allowed her to remain in her own home as she'd always wished. It also allowed the family to take a step back from that intensive caring role and reconnect with Joan as their mother and grandmother. All of the support workers, as any care agency, we do daily support records and are electronic, and they actually go via email, which is really convenient for their family with son traveling a lot. So that's just a little snippet about Joan and the progression from dementia. I don't think the family would have thought that first initial call, 14 months later, they would go from 2 visits a week to live-in care. So now to talk about lasting power of attorneys and the importance of it in dementia care. So when supporting someone living with dementia, it's really important to consider how decisions will be made if that person's unable to make them themselves. So this is where the lasting power of attorney comes in. So I'm going to refer to it as an LPA. So that's a legal document that allows a trusted person or more than one person to make decisions on behalf of someone who can no longer do so. The trusted person is known as an attorney, and the person granting the authority is referred to as the donor. In the context of dementia, where decision-making ability may change gradually, setting up an LPA early is essential. It assures that decisions, whether about health, care, finances, or properties, can be made by someone the individual trusts and is chosen, and who they have identified to be in line with their values and preferences. So as you can see on the screen there's two different types of LPAs. There's property and financial affairs LPA, which can allow attorneys to help manage bank accounts, pay bills, handle legal matters, even if the donor still has capacity, if this is agreed. Then there's health and wellbeing LPA, which can only be used once the donor has lost capacity and relates to care needs, medical treatments, and living arrangements. So the key points to be aware of are that the donor must be over 18 and have mental capacity at the time of making the LPA, meaning they understand what it is and what it allows. LPAs must be registered with the Office of the Public Guardian before they can be used. It's possible to appoint more than one attorney and specify whether they can act jointly or independently. And backups can also be named in the case the original ones can no longer act. So there's several benefits to creating this early. So as I said, dementia is progressive, which means it will become more difficult for the person living with dementia to make plans and decisions over time. It is therefore a good idea to start thinking about making an LPA as soon as possible. It also ensures decision reflects the person's wishes, even when they're no longer able to express them. It's also, again, that trusted person they have chosen. Without an LPA, I've seen throughout my career loved ones face a lengthy, stressful, and costly, at times, legal processes to be allowed to help. And it also allows continuity of care. So attorneys can step in and maintain routines, financial obligations, care arrangements without disruption. And again, I feel like this is my theme of the day, early conversations. So it really opens the door to have the important family discussions about future care and also the person living with dementia's values and preferences, as I think a lot of the time families go, I didn't know mum wanted that, or I didn't know mum, thought that. So it's good to do that. I understand it may feel like a difficult topic, and I've had these in my own family, but encouraging these conversations really make a big difference later on, not only for the individual, but also everyone around them. So Admiral nurses, if you know about them, fantastic. If not, they are a wonderful resource. So they're specialist dementia nurses who are supported and developed by Dementia UK. They support families affected by all types of dementia across all age groups, including young onset dementia. So that's where symptoms develop under the age of 65. Admiral nurses focus on supporting the family as a whole, including any children or young people who are connected with a person with dementia. Just to say as well, they also help professionals. I have spoken to them twice before regarding my clients, and they have been fantastic. They really provide that tailored and practical support with all aspects of dementia. They make sure carers have strategies and skills they need to support the person living with dementia. So that can be communication skill, techniques, preventing or managing changing in behaviour, understanding and applying for financial benefits, emotional and psychosocial support, planning for the future, signposting to other services, support groups, respite, and choosing care and support and managing transition into a care home. So I'll email this through to each of you, but you can see here there's different ways. So for immediate support, this is from 9 to 9, Monday to Friday, or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, Sunday, except Christmas Day. You can ring the line there. I've again rang twice and I got through relatively quickly. It can be busy though, but if you leave a voicemail, they will get back to you as soon as possible, and it is free and confidential. There's also virtual clinic appointments that last about 45 minutes. It's really that more of in-depth discussion, and you can arrange a time that's convenient for you. And, for example, if you're a carer, someone can sit with your loved one. And it also allows other people to attend, so other family members that geographically you can't both be on the phone at the same time. To book those, you just do it on the website. So there, dementiauk.org/book. It's really easy. You can also book through it via the phone as well if you're not able to do it on the website. Then you've got consultant admiral nurses. So they have specific expertise in certain areas. So as you can see there, Lewy body dementia, sport and dementia, LGBTI community. But to contact them and to get an appointment with them, please call the number and speak around that and the referral criteria. Okay, so I wanted to speak about care navigation and social prescribing. So I'm going to focus on Age UK Camden, but then at the end I'll also speak about other boroughs. So care navigation and social prescribing are based in GP practices across Camden and can provide up to 6 weeks of personalised case management support for Camden residents who are aged 18 plus and are registered with a Camden GP, and they are living with one or more long-term health condition. These include people living with dementia and their carers. They bring together 4 really useful services. So as you can see on the screen there, care navigation, social prescribing, community links, and Wish Plus. So care navigators often visit the home. They help to navigate local services, things like care packages, home adaptations, welfare advice, transport options. Social prescribers help connect people to community groups, well-being activities, and healthy lifestyle support. Then you've got the community links. So they're health advocates that do outreach in place, like libraries, faith groups offering faith-to-faith support to people to link with local activities. And Wish Plus is a great referral service that connects people to support for things like heating, safety, and income. Anyone can refer a family member, a friend of a loved one, self-referral, and they can do it via the GP or on the number at the bottom there of the diagram. So similar support is available in many other London boroughs. So, for example, Age UK branches in Islington, Barnet, Redbridge also provide care navigation and social prescribing to help residents. Boroughs like Waltham Forest, Barking, and Dagenham offer council-led social prescribing programs, which link workers, connecting people to activities, wellbeing advice, and local support. Although, every borough in London, the exact structure varies, the key message is that most boroughs now provide some form of holistic community-based support to help people manage health and care needs. And we see that it has been really beneficial for our clients who have accessed this. So, financial support. The first thing to do is to get your loved one a care needs assessment from the local council. This then leads to a financial means test to determine eligibility for help. But the care assessment then bases it not on finances at the start, but the care needs. So that's your 2-step process. In England, this is the threshold, so the numbers on there. However, it's important to have that care needs assessment then to see if there's other areas you are eligible for. So there are the disabled facilities grants. So this is a main tested grant up to £30,000 for home adaptations. You also have the minor home adaptations, which a lot of my clients has accessed, and that's councils offer grants for small adaptations, which have been really helpful. Again, I will send all of this out to you, but we have then the different types of support. So in the orange, we have the attendance allowance. So it's a weekly payment for individuals with disabilities or health conditions over state aid pension, and it comes in 2 rates there. The rate you receive depends on the level of help and supervision you need due to your condition. You can find it on the government website. Then you have CHC funding. So it's a package of care funded solely by the NHS. It's not means tested. It covers usually the full cost of healthcare and social care, including care and home fees if needed. To be eligible, a person must have a primary health condition, meaning their care requirements are primarily for healthcare rather than social or personal care needs. And we find that because the criteria has just changed, it's quite strict and hard to get. But we have found that if people have a prognosis of 3 to 6 months to live, there's a higher guarantee that they will get it, as it's that more higher end care. However, I always say to give it a go if that person has high care needs, because every council, every assessor is a little bit different, even though the criteria is overall. Then for carers, so there's carers allowance paid at around $81.90 a week for people caring for someone receiving certain different, whenever that person is receiving certain disability benefits. They must provide at least 35 hours of care per week and meet earning criteria. Carers credit. So this actually helps you as a carer protect your national insurance record. If you're not earning enough to pay contributions because you're caring, often awarded automatically if you receive carers allowance. And then there's care element of universal credit. So it adds roughly $198.31 per week if you care for someone for 35 plus hours weekly and they receive a qualifying disability benefit. However, it is means tested. But I think it's really important to explore these. And I know that we have some professionals on here today, as well as carers. But I really wanted to highlight the importance of how professionals can support unpaid carers of people living with dementia. So really acknowledge that care as part of the care team. I honestly don't know what I would do without my unpaid carers for my clients, and the insight they give me. They know that person, so they are the expert. Ask how the carer is coping, not just how a person living with dementia is doing. So again, knowledge is power here. Share tailored, accessible information. I think a lot of people assume that carers know what support's out there or what funding, and a lot of the time they don't. They've never looked into it or thought, I wouldn't be eligible, what's the point? Refer early to care services, dementia support, and wellbeing resources. Be aware of that care fatigue, and also that can be emotional as well as physical, and listen without judgment. Promote flexible access to support, so especially for working carers. And I truly mean that a conversation, a leaflet, or a follow-up call can go such a long way. And then for the carers, where to find help. Again, I will send this all out to you, but there is support out there. This is in addition to what I've spoken about, the Admiral nurses and the social prescribing. But we've got Carers First, Alzheimer's Society, Dementia Connect. They have a helpline. Carers UK, that really good for advice and support. They also have online support groups and the Carers Right information. Carers Trust, and then NHS Every Mind Matters. So yeah, so thank you. I'm gonna and I'll stop sharing actually, so you can see me. But yeah, that's really all. I just wanted to check if there's any questions, open the floor, if anyone has anything they'd like to ask. Yes, Stephanie, go ahead.
Thank you for that presentation. It was really insightful and really helpful. I wanted to ask about something you said earlier on at the beginning of the session about a private dementia diagnosis and the criteria and how to kind of get that. Would you be able to elaborate on that a bit more, please?
Yeah, so is that the private assessment service.
Yes, and apologies if you have already said it. I've had several deliveries that I've had to go and go to the door, so I might have missed it if you've already said it. So sorry if you have.
No, you're fine. And again, I will send it out. So it's called. I've never used it. However, I've met them at a few events, and I was really taken aback because I think it's a set amount. I think it's about £200. But I will send it out in an email, and it's really fast. I think it's about 6 weeks. The person gets connected to a nurse, a dementia nurse, and then also a geriatrician. And but they then privately have to do scans, etc. So it can then add cost to it. But you then get follow-up. I think it's for 6 months after that. But it's just a phone call, and then you get referred from that, and it's national. It's all over the UK. But I think it'd be best if I sent the website, and I also have flyers as well, and they can, if you'd be interested in that.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much.
No worries. Anyone else at all?
Sorry, Oli. Marco.
Hello, hi.
Question for you. It's part of my duty supporting people with dementia, and I help people applying for the lasting power of attorney. However, I found a bit difficult and complicated to do by myself the application for the benefits that people are entitled for. Do you know if there is any support or like a training that can be provided? Because I understand that sometimes people, they struggle to pay the fees, pay an external organization. So this is a peace of mind by myself, basically. So do you know if there is any organization providing this kind of training?
Yeah, so it's a real minefield, Marco, and we see it as well. People come to us. There, I'm just going to get this back up. I'll just share my screen again. So we have found that the benefit checkers have been really good. But then in terms of applying for it, we have seen social prescribers support with that. Here, so these are long use benefit checks. Sorry, so I'll just send it in the chat. And you can also, yeah, care navigators are a really good one. I'll just pop it in the chat here. Some of the benefit tool checkers, but also the local authorities. So, for example, Camden Age UK, they have an actual person that will come out and help you apply for benefits, and they'll also do a benefits checker. So my client, he's 98, and he was on no benefits, and he said, oh, there's no way I would be eligible for anything. And I linked him in with their benefit support system, and he got 2 benefits that he didn't know that he needed, and he got it actually a bit backdated as well. So it was really positive. I don't know about trainings, but kind of leaning on those experts to do it, but I can definitely look into it. Is there a particular borough that you work in, or?
I'm working in Westminster, but I think it's, yeah, for example, if it's Age UK, yeah, I'm in touch with the Age UK Westminster, but if you have a specialist that you're in touch with, yeah, if you can share the contact, I'm more than happy to travel to Camden because again, sometimes I know people struggle to apply. I tried once and it wasn't successful. So I really want to understand how we can help people and support people with this kind of matter that I think is very important, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me look into it for you and see further, and then I'll send it in the information I'll send through to everyone. I'll send like a bit of like a PDF with all of it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions or anything you want me to follow up with that would be helpful from today, or any other resources at all? Because I will send through a PDF with everything I've written about, and then the dementia assessment service, and also then benefit support in terms of applying. No? Okay, lovely. Thank you, everyone. Oh, are we able to get a copy of the slides? Yes, that's no problem, Stephanie. I'll send the slides as well. Great. I'll probably put them as PDF. Maybe I'll do that. But you will get a copy of them, and then with additional information to that as well. But I hope that was helpful, and please give us a call or email us if you need. Always happy to help. We need to help one another to get through all of the systems. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining, and I hope you have a lovely rest of today.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thanks,
Ollie.
everyone. All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Ollie.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Look forward to receiving the slides whenever.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciated.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Now, how do I leave?
There's a leave on the right hand side, the red button. Can you see it?
I'm used to Zoom. How do I leave?
At the top, there's a little leave button with the little phone. Top right.
Oh, top. Oh, like
It says
yeah, it's
leave.
refusing. Do you know what? We've had problems with this tablet, and it's refusing. All it will show me is tips for dementia cares webinar, but
Okay.
it won't let me leave a meeting.
Okay. Can you?
I'll just stay here until you shut it down.
Oh, I don't even have access to shut it down. So is there? If you click it, can you? Is there does anything come up? Any red button?
No, the only red button that comes up is the telephone, and I'm assuming.
Oh, there you go.